Hi, my name's Rich, and today I want to cover how to make a character in Dungeons & Dragons. Now, it seems intimidating, there's this big rule book and there's this big sheet of numbers you have to fill out, but don't worry, we'll break it down so it's nice and easy. There are 5 main steps, and in these steps we're going to go through them one by one, and there should be some time codes in the description, so if you're not sure about something you can go back and forward and just think of this as a resource. If you have any new players that are unsure how to make a character, send this video their way. So, the 5 things you need to do: you need to choose a race, you need to choose a class, a background. Now these 3 things are static, you don't have to have many variables in them, and you can find them all in the player's handbook. Last 2 things, you're going to need some dice, because you're going to be rolling your ability scores and your hit points. So, the first thing you're going to need is the player's handbook. It's in the name. If you're going to be playing the game, get the handbook. It will help you out, it will give you all the rules, and you don't need to read it from cover to cover, it's just like a compendium of the rules. But it does have the options for your first choice. What race are you going to choose? So, starting out, we have the human. Vanilla, all-rounder, a little bit of everything involved. Next, we have the dwarves and elves, which are the traditional fantasy races. And if you want to go a little bit smaller, you have the halflings, which are legally distinct hobbits, and gnomes. And if you want to get a little bit more outside of the box, there are half-orcs, tieflings, and dragonborn. Oh, and I nearly forgot the half-elves as well. You have an option to be half-human, half-elf. The next choice you're going to make is your class. Now, there are lots of different classes, and it can be very intimidating to choose which class you want, but just know that the traditional way to start out, the traditional party, is a rogue, a wizard, a fighter, and a cleric. Now, the cleric is going to be healing people and getting them off the ground. The fighter is going to be taking the damage and standing in front of everyone else with a big shield. The rogue is going to be sneaking around stealthily and stabbing people in the back for high damage. And the wizard is a glass cannon. They're very fragile, but they can put out a lot of damage and they're really cool to play. Get a big pointy hat if you play a wizard. There are other martial classes, such as the barbarian, the paladin, the monk, but don't need to worry about those. If you want to try the more advanced classes then, go right ahead, dive in. But if you want to keep it as simple as possible, pick one of the 4 basic classes. Now the next option is the backgrounds. If you choose your race, your class and your background, these are all your choices. It's just a lot of theming for your character, and it really helps write the character for you. There are lots of different backgrounds, and it doesn't have a massive impact on the mechanics of the game, but it could lead the story in different directions, and it really sparks some creativity. Now, the final 2 things you need to do, you're going to need some dice for these. You're going to be rolling your stats, and you're going to be rolling your hit points. Now, we'll start off with the hit points. It depends on your character class. Each character class has different hit point die assigned to it. And if you're not sure about the technical rules of it, ask your DM, and he or she will be sure to help you out. Generally, the fighter has the most hit points, with 1d10, and the wizard is the least hit points with 1d6. Now, once you've rolled your hit points, you're going to need to worry about your abilities. And there are 2 main ways these are generated. The first one is quite simple. You're giving a set of numbers and you choose which ones you want to put into which slot. The slots are Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Wisdom, Charisma. 5 options. The other way of doing this is rolling lots of dice. Essentially, you're going to be taking 4d6, 4 6-sided die, rolling them, and then taking the 3 highest numbers, and that should give you a number between 3 and 18. You do this 6 times, and then you'll use those stats. Now, you can be unlucky and not roll high, and some DMs will have a rule that states that if you go below a certain number, then it doesn't count and they'll let you roll again. I mean, everybody's here to have fun, it's not about sticking to the statistics. Although I will say that some of my most favourite characters have had really low intelligence or low strength, so don't take a low roll as the end of the world. It's just going to add some character to your character. So, there you have it. That's the 5 things you need to do to create a character. Now, if you're interested in watching any of the other videos, there should be some link down here. And yeah, if you've got any more questions, if you're not sure about something, leave it in the comments, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you next time. Bye!